Well, here we go. Russia-Ukraine war. What a mess. NATO, the USA, European Union, and all these other freaking names, if you want to call them. It's their war. And poor Ukrainian people in their country are doing the suffering. And a lot of Russian people are suffering also. But I was watching this thing this morning on Scott Ritter. A lot of I'd say about 75% of the things he's talking about is good and right, where he's right. When it comes to the garbage in Ukraine, all the lies and false propaganda that's coming out of Ukraine from the Zelensky government, and he covered quite a nice area. Bucha, well, we all know that Ukraine is responsible for most of that damage and death. And, of course, Russia did some. And he's right. Russia never, just go back to some of my videos from the early start. Russia never intended to conquer the government in Kyiv. The only reason they attacked Kyiv was so Ukraine would send their best trained military and equipment to Kyiv. Russia accomplished that part. And back to my original thing. Russia only wants to protect the people in the South and the East. By all the previous agreements that's been reached, Ukraine, NATO, USA are the only ones breaking those agreements. And they're trying to get other countries to break agreements that's been made with Russia. And so anyway, Scott Ritter, like I say, he's about 75% on target. I give him that credit. Maybe better than 75 on some things. Because he basically has the same attitude I do on evaluating the situation with Russia, why Russia did it, why they were protecting the people, the Russian people, in the South and the East. That was the only goal that Russia had and still has. And as far as a full-blown invasion, it was not. But with NATO and the USA keep sending in weapons and all this other crap and money, they just keep accelerating this, we call it a war, that should never have really taken place. Russia would have had it all taken care of in the first week. They would have had the Russians protected in the South and the East. Ukraine would still exist. Its government would still exist. But in return, the whole damn world is trying to make a hero out of a little, tough-acting clown. That the only damn thing he is half-assed good at is getting on the front of a camera and a microphone. That's about how tough he is. If there's any toughness in Ukraine, you got to give it to the working people. You got to give it to the people that are fighting. You got to give it to the people that stayed in Ukraine and did not leave. Did not desert like a lot of people. And some of them Hell, they deserted to Poland, some other country, and they're making money off of the websites and things, and people are eating it up. Then there's this crap. Well, the first trip Zelensky ever made out of Ukraine was to the USA. That's a bunch of crap, and everybody knows it. As soon as Russia started moving towards Kyiv, him and his cohorts got their asses out, and they went to Poland for self-protection. Period. And you people out there think that's only his first visit out of the country. Get smart. Get really smart. The guy's a clown. And if you look at the areas that he was in Poland, advertising like he was still in Ukraine, just ask some of the experts. Hell, you can even ask. Anyway, that's my take on it, and I just wanted to cover some things for this gentleman. He was a inspector, munitions inspector or something. I'm not even sure he ever fought in a war, but he's a good analyst. He evaluates things that are happening, who has it, who doesn't have it, why it's been done, who's making the money. And of course, we all know between NATO and the USA, all those politicians, all this money that the taxpayers are having to spend for the warmongers, a lot of that money in the millions is going to be returned to the politicians, nonprofits, campaign funds. Man, they're returning taxpayers' money to them by the millions and millions. And the stupid people around the world, just sheep, they just can't seem to get smart. They think, oh man, poor Ukraine is an underdog, being suffered, and Russia's brutalizing them. My God Almighty. Sheep just following the bell. Politicians getting rich off taxpayers' money. Taxpayers from all over the world suffering. High prices on everything. Fuel, groceries, everything. People. And they say, well, peace in the world. Hell, there ain't going to be no peace. As long as the warmongers and these politicians are controlling the millions of people, there will never be peace. There's no profit in peace for these people. Only in war is there profit. Just research it, man. All around the world. That's what it's always been about. Power and profit, greed. And well, the poor working people pay for it because they just don't have enough sense to control those